is religion, a source of poverty. I'd been listening to men of God when they are preaching in their churches or in a function. They always tell us, and they always thank us, those who found faith in Jesus Christ. They say that Christ is the way, the truth, and life. They usually keep on warning us not to worship fellow human beings. That statement alone, for the last few months, whenever I hear those men of God talking, just put me down on a completely different track. I started soul searching and came out with an answer that I really don't belong to those churches. And believe me, those churches the religion and poverty are older than me and you combined. It had been circulating around for years and years, ages and ages, and we are still in poverty. I started asking myself to what I really want to be. Do I go around listening to those who are repeating the same story years and years in and out? Those men of God are like desert locusts that is threatening some of our towns today in East Africa, in Uganda, in Kenya, in Somalia. I do believe that religion and poverty are brothers and sisters. They are the most enduring social and cultural phenomenon. It is not possible to separate the two from each other. They are very, very closely interrelated, and it is not a tradition that motivates poverty. Why do we believe that it is a duty of a religious leader to tame poverty? For so many years, faith-based groups are recognized globally as important factors in fighting global poverty reduction. They call it global poverty reduction. I don't believe in it. Looking back to many statements made by those leaders forced me to take another look in some key areas of interest. between religion and poverty. I keep asking myself to the fact that religion and poverty are older than you and me combined. But still, we wake up in the morning, we look at what we have achieved and what we have not achieved. It tells you a lot, more than your eyes can believe. Because everywhere you go around the world, people are still collecting money. People are collecting money. People are donating money to help a man-made poverty or a global disaster poverty or whatever they may want to term it. But it does not make sense, because all around the planet Earth, we still find people are collecting money day in, day out, and that poverty seems not to stop, and it does not want to stop. To be honest, I don't see the role of religion or religious affiliation, the role it plays in the process of eliminating poverty. What role do they play as faith-based organization in our daily life? Are they reducing poverty? When they open their schools, the parents have to pay school fees. When you go to pray, you have to drop money for them, whether you have an income or you don't have an income. So what sort of relationship does religion have to poverty? How do they work together? They are partners anyway. What I know is that most faith-based organizations, instead of fighting poverty, they have turned into bedbugs that lives on the poor. Their own engagement with the poor is mainly based on a business-like approach. You scratch my back, and I scratch yours. As long as the money is pouring into the faith-based accounts, then we are all connected to God. In recent years, the relationship between religion and society had been changing rapidly. In some part of the world, like where we are today, there are a lot of people who does not go to church anymore. There are a lot of people who don't bother with faith anymore. But in places like Africa, the faith-based organizations are pouring in like desert locusts. Men and women in goat skin, are moving in to confuse those who believe in Christianity They all claim that they're there to promote religion in public sphere and improve social life. Africans are being taken for a ride on a bandwagon of faith-based organization. In other areas of the world, religious and faith-based norms and practices are not as prominent as in Africa. Faith-based organization here in Europe and other parts of the world are painted with sex scandals, conflict over economic inequalities, and the faith-based organization, in fact, if people don't know, they are a part and a parcel or a source of inequality and injustice, but not a driver of potential change and empowerment, not a driver of eliminating eliminating poverty. No, I don't see it that way. When you hear the man of God speaking in the church or other social functions, my heart sinks. And in that process, it forces me to take another look at what religion is today. In fact, I really want to go even further and try to find out what drives Christianity. A number of important questions are waiting to be answered, but we are not getting answers years in, years out. We need to know to what extent religion and poverty are connected to one another. Why is that? Some of the religion are affected by poverty than the others. Why do we, for many years, depend on the poor people to fund our activities? Let's look at the historical background that combine faith-based affiliation to poverty. What are the sources? What are the social, economic characteristics that drive those faiths, that connect those faiths based to poverty? I keep asking myself, why is that the world relation is diverse in itself? Why? Can somebody tell me? Can somebody come out and tell me why we are having so many people with different God. Really, with different God, because everybody comes and say, this God is mine. This God of mine is better than that God of yours. And now we have so many faith-based organizations roaming the world and stealing from people, to be honest. We need to be clear about the role of religion in Africa. We have to be clear about the role of faith-based organization to our poor people. Our complex culture, cultural practices, and belief need to be revisited. We cannot go on and on kneeling down and praying for God, mercy, which we know that we are not going to see it. We are not going to be saved. We can pray to God. But according to the Bible itself, God help those who help themselves. If all these years you have not yet learned to help yourself, and you let these people come and take you for a ride, then you have a problem. Then you have to try and solve that problem. It is your duty, it is my duty to help the poor people understand that it's better to understand themselves and their neighbors. Talk about your social and economic problems with immediate people around you before jumping into the faith-based organization who are there to enrich themselves and their family in the name of God. We have seen the faith-based organization come and go. All of them come and have something to say about poverty. And connected to inequality. Using their own interpretive models to convince you that they are real. We can translate religion, belief, system in different ways. And we can understand it also in various ways. Let me tell you something. When Christianity came to actually learn. Let me talk about my people. When Christianity came to actually learn, our ancestors looked at it in a completely different ways. Then we look at them today. You see, sometimes when I hear people like 𝙏𝙗𝙖𝙣𝙠 talking about our ancestor talking to him, I then sit back and say, yeah, it's not a bad thing if those kids still understand that our ancestors are there, that they're telling them something. Because when Christianity came, our ancestors accepted Christianity, but they did it in their own way. If I go deep into the translation of religious beliefs into actually Bible and the language they use, we could translate it in different ways. Let me now play a devil advocate just for a moment. These people, when they came, they told our people that Jesus is the way. And then our ancestors say, oh, Jesus is the way. Yeah, but we also have our own 𝙁𝙊𝙇 𝙁𝙤𝙬 is our ways. Okay, we can work together. So they asked them, now, if the name Jesus, we want to use it in Acholi language, what should it be? They told them Yeshu. Yeshu, if you translate it in English, it means Jesus. But if you translate it again in Acholi language, it means your luggage. Yeshu. Because they told those missionaries, say, now listen, you are coming here and telling us that a man was killed to save us, and his name is Jesus. But the fact is, we didn't kill Jesus. You people killed Jesus. And now you are carrying that luggage and bringing it to us, that we should worship it also. Okay, then you call it Yeshu. Yeshu. It is your luggage. It's not mine. You see, it is time, maybe not for you and me, but for our children and our grandchildren to go deep to find out, why did these ancestors of ours say it is your luggage? Why do you want us to carry your luggage? It means they knew what they were talking about. That is why they used the name Yeshu, which if you translate it in Acholi, it means it's your luggage. You want us to carry your luggage, but you're the one who killed the man. Why do we have to carry your luggage? You killed the man, and now you're coming, you're telling us to carry your luggage. You see, so the language they use, if you look at the translation properly and then you go deep and you try to analysis, make your own, then you'll understand it. We are not the one who killed Jesus. And now you're coming, you're asking us to carry your cross. You're asking us to help you. But in our language, it means it is your luggage. They knew what they were doing. And some people may think, yeah, this man is becoming crazy, but I'm not. Our grandchildren, our children, or you and me, we need to do more research to find out what was in their mind. Why did they use those languages like 𝙏𝙗𝙬𝙗? But if you go further, you have what we call God. Now, if you talk about God, now in Acholi, the language they're using now, 𝙏𝙗𝙬𝙗 and 𝙏𝙗𝙗, in fact, is a hunchback sickness in our homeland. A sickness which was not common. A hunchback sickness was not common. And those who are born like that, they get a special name. And that name is 𝙏𝙗𝙗, and some people call it 𝙏𝙗𝙗. That is what they gave the missionaries. When the missionaries asked, how do you call God in a Acholi language? And they said it's called 𝙏𝙗𝙗, because that is a sickness. The same way that they said 𝙏𝙗𝙬𝙗, that is 𝙏𝙗𝙗, and now they told these people, they say, God means 𝙏𝙗𝙗 in Acholi language, or 𝙏𝙗𝙗. So, you try to go back and try to think as individuals. Go back and think like individuals. What does those words mean, 𝙏𝙗𝙬𝙗 and 𝙏𝙗𝙗 and 𝙏𝙗𝙗? Let our children, our grandchildren, or you, or me, let's try to do a lot of research to find out what is going on. I don't believe that those who are working with poor people are really motivated. They are also working for their own benefits, whether being charitable, professional, or political. Sometimes we think that we are helping the poor, but in that process, we are busy marginalizing people, tradition, culture, and what they believe in. Why do you think that your faith is more important than my own faith? We have our own faith even before you come. We have what we believed in even before you were there. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope we streamline and try to reduce those faith-based organizations. We really don't need them. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to subscribe. I'll be back.